Hi everybody, Dan Illman, Matt Bertie are kicking off the Pegasus World Cup Pick 6 with race number 7 at Gulfstream Park on Saturday, the Grade 3 Hurricane Bertie Stakes. You can take advantage of a great offer on DRF bets to play this fantastic Saturday card at Gulfstream. Deposit $50, bet with $200. Learn more at bets.drf.com. Let's take a look at the field of fillies and mares getting set to go 7 furlongs in the Grade 3 Hurricane Bertie Stakes. We've got a Breeders' Cup winner in the field, the filly and mare sprint champion, the number 4 Shamrock Rose, 2-to-1 morning line favorite. Matt, far cry from the 25-to-1 she was in the Breeders' Cup filly and mare sprint, 18-to-1 she was in the Raven Run, but she's won 4 in a row. She just needs some pace, and she got a lot of it last time out.
She got a lot of it last time out, as well as in the Raven Run 2 starts back, and I can understand looking at that saying she had the run of the race. She's going to get the same thing here. Is the pace going to be quite as hot? She's coming off of a little bit of a layoff. It's only going to be the second time that she's facing older horses. Keep that in mind as well. But then at the same time, I look at that filly and mare sprint, and I didn't like the race going into it. I didn't like it coming out of it. But now you've had 3 next out winners already with buyers of 102, 93, and 84. And sure, she did have the run of the race that day, but there is something to be said about getting the job done and winning. She really likes this distance. I mean, there's a part of me that looks at it and says I expect her to run well, but at the same time, I don't know if I love her at 2-to-1.
Number 2, Dream Pauline, 3-to-1 second choice on the morning line. All she's done is win 3 of 4 lifetime starts, and she beat 3 of these common foes in last month's Grade 3 Sugar Swirl Stakes at Gulfstream Park. Now, she's going to have to go the 7 for the first time in her career. Last time out in the Sugar Swirl, she attacked the pace on the turn, took over in the stretch, and was all out to hold off Stormy Embrace. Are you concerned about the 7? I mean, she's a daughter of Tapit. It's probably too early to just pigeonhole her as a 6-furlong horse, but she has shown a lot of potential in her career.
No, she certainly has. I'm a little bit concerned about the distance because I did think Stormy Embrace was getting to her at the end of that run. And then also, like you say, she did go after the lead early on, but Timeform had all of those fractions color-coded blue. And I thought, oh, look, she dug in gamely. I'll give her the benefit of the doubt there. But there's a part of me that looks at it and says, maybe this pace isn't quite as easy, or maybe it's faster than what you're accustomed to. You got to deal with the extra distance, and you got to deal with some legitimately talented fillies. I don't know if I love her at a short price either.
I do think Stormy Embrace is going to be better at this 7-furlong distance. I think that's more of her game. Last time out in the Sugar Swirl, I'm not sure she really loves a wet track A, but you could see Tyler really pushing on Stormy Embrace on the far turn while she was making a 4-wide bid. She just, I think, is more of a grinder, and she was grinding at Dream Pauline at the end of that race. Couple more strides, I think she gets to Dream Pauline. Nice outside post here. You're not her biggest fan, but she's always run well at Gulfstream.
Well, I think there needs to be a caveat in there. I like her. I think she's an honest horse. She's a professional filly. The difference is I don't think she's the 97 Princess Rooney horse. I think she's a high 80, possibly a low 90 on her absolute best day, and that's her absolute best. Now, look, maybe a 90 or a 91 is going to be good enough to get the job done in this spot because we're not dealing with superstars. But at the same time, I just, there's a part of me that looks at it and says if she ends up being one of the sort of the more interesting prices, there's got to be somebody else that I'm a little bit personally more intrigued with at this level.
Pacific Gale was 3rd in the Sugar Swirl. We've always been fans of hers, and her most recent fast track race resulted in an optional claiming win at Belmont. The problem is she just isn't very fast. Her best buyer speed figure is a 79, and she may have to run 10 to 15 points faster to win this race.
I just have a hard time imagining all of a sudden through 12 lifetime starts now we're going to have a giant jump up into the low 90s. I suppose it's possible, but I don't like her chances.
I think Awestruck has a chance in here at a pretty decent price. Remember, she was bet down to 2-to-1 in the Sugar Swirl. She was just compromised by those blue color-coded Timeform U.S. fractions. As a matter of fact, in her last 3 races, she's faced those kind of scenarios. 4 starts back, she didn't have that kind of scenario. She ran a 112 pace-adjusted Timeform U.S. figure, and it was too long for her. 1 mile and 1/8. I think you can say she's dirtied up by the pace in her last 3. The distance of the 3 before that were too far. You got that 1-turn mile breakout party race in '89 back in May. If she runs back to that race, she's okay. My main concern is, does she get enough pace in this race? Timeform US disagrees.
Well, and the other thing, too, is like you say, that 1-turn mile at Churchill, but the race prior to that, coming off that layoff at Keeneland at 6.5, I thought that was strong as well. So if you think that those are the 2 most representative races for what you're basing her off of here for this race on Saturday, I agree with you. I think she's very, very intriguing. I don't love that she doesn't necessarily love to win races very often. I think she's a talented runner, and she comes with her honest bid every once in a while. I guess the concern for me is she better used underneath than on top?
Timeform US concerned about her chance to get that fast pace. The blue bar indicates our friends at Timeform US believes this race will favor horses on or near the early lead. They've got Awestruck next to last after the first quarter mile. They've got Blamed up front in the early portion of this race, and if she gets a blue bar situation, she might make 5-1 look like real value. All she's done in her career is win 6 of 8. She's never been off the board in her 8 lifetime starts, and last time out she stretched out nicely in the Grade 3 Comely. She held on. A mile and an eighth might be a little far for her. She turns back to 7. She has had some success sprinting in the past.
Yeah, I hate to say it. I'd be stunned if she's 5-1. I think she's going to be vying for favoritism, even with Shamrock Rose in here. But if you play out the scenario where that pace projector is accurate, I think it's come and catch me. And I don't know that anybody else in here is good enough to go and run with her. Maybe I'm vastly overrating her, but I thought each of her runs going out for Bill Mott last year were both very, very impressive. Like you say, that Comely probably a little bit on the too far side. That run in the Raven run off of a long layoff with that hot pace, and she was still sticking around at the end. To me, if she runs in here, I think she is strictly one of the horses to beat. In my opinion, she is the horse to beat.
Timeform US gave her a 123 pace-adjusted rating for that last race in the Comely. If you want to try to poke holes in that race, they also had that race over a very speed-favoring track, and she was able to make the lead, and her main competition, Remedy, did not break very well and was sort of in a prolonged bid to get to her. You could argue that if Remedy broke well, maybe she beats Blamed that afternoon, but Blamed is very talented, and Timeform US believes she gets a positive pace situation. Victory Rally has won her last 2 starts for trainer Michael Matz. 81 by her speed figures. She's obviously has to do better.
Yeah, right now she's just on the slow side. I know those 81s paired up. Perhaps she takes a forward move here off a little bit of a layoff, but based on what she's done recently, she's nice. She's just in tough.
Joe Orsino has done a nice job with Miss Mishek. 2 wins in a row for this daughter of Shackelford. She's taken a big step up in class. Didn't love the field she beat last time out. This is a strong edition of the Hurricane Bertie.
I feel like you can echo the same thing for Ms. Mishak. Is basically half of this field. They just look like they're in a little bit tough. They're on a little bit of the slow side. And then the other half of the field, I think you can make a case for basically any one of them.
Real nice way to kick off the Pick 6 on Pegasus World Cup Saturday. We take a look at our top selections for this race. You are a believer in Blamed. Doesn't matter whether it's 5.5 furlongs. Doesn't matter if it's a mile and an eighth. And we all saw that Timeform US pace projector.
You know, and here I say, I think half the field, you can make a serious case for them to win. I believe that, but at the same time, I'm just really taken by this filly. I think she's quite good. Maybe I'm just really overestimating her and overrating her, but I think this could be the beginning of a big, big year for her. She runs well in this spot. I wouldn't be surprised at all if you wait and see a race like the Madison down the road at Keeneland, a race like the Humana Distaff eventually at Churchill. I think she's very talented.
And trainer Bill Mott has been on fire with all his horses. New York, Florida, etc. Stormy Embrace, I'm hoping, will appreciate the extra furlong that she's going to get on Saturday. I think this is a very comfortable outside post position. I'm hoping somebody can push Blame just a little bit and she can park 3 wide, tracking the pace with a bid on the turn. I'll give her one more chance for trainer Kathleen O'Connell. 8-4-5-2 for me. Give me numbers again.
5-4-2-8.
Real fun race, the Grade 3 Hurricane Bertie. Again, it kicks off the Pick 6. You can play the Pick 6 with a new DRF Bets account. It's a good deal. You deposit 50, you bet immediately with 200. Bets.drf.com is where you need to go for all the details. An approximate post time for race number 7 on Pegasus World Cup Saturday at Gulfstream, 2:30 Eastern. Best of luck.